Hey guys, it's me again, back with another video. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Josiah. I go to FAMU, and I just finished my freshman year. I felt like just kind of collecting my thoughts, on how I feel like this year went, because again, for those of you who do not know me, I am a nerd, so I have a lot to say. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so that you can see more videos from me. Turn on your notifications. A few people have told me that they want to see my videos, but they don't know when they happen. So turn on your notifications. A little bit of background about me before I get into too much of the details of freshman year is that in high school, I had graduated with my associates. It's right here, there. So I'm halfway through college right now, and my degree is in environmental engineering. I go to the FAMU, Florida State College of Engineering. Major is combined between civil and environmental. So half of my classes I take are closer to the environmental side. Half of them that I take are closer to the civil side. I was also on scholarship, so I had to do 15 credits per semester or more. I had to get 30 volunteer hours every semester. Certain things about my scholarship just limited me in what all other stuff I could do outside of school. So that's the background stuff.
I'm a genius with the Glock. There's some relevance.
My first thing that I want to talk about is classes, because, as a nerd myself, that was kind of what I was thinking about the most and stressing about going into college was, what are my classes going to be like? Are they going to be too hard? Am I fit to do this? All of that type of stuff. And what I can say pretty confidently is that A, yes, it's very difficult, but B, anybody is capable of being successful. You just have to really have the drive to go and do work outside of class. My classes were differential equations, geomatics with a lab, the first year engineering lab that all the engineers have to take. Then it was engineering mechanics or statics. I had to take engineering economics, and I had to take computer graphics. So 16 credits, second semester. I was done with math, but I took strength of materials, which is the hardest class in my major. Then I took hydraulics. I took intro to environmental engineering. I took chemistry 2 with a lab, and I took soil mechanics. Guys, I do not like soil mechanics. Don't tell anybody, but I called it dirt class. I could not do that class. Oh my goodness. That's my classes for second semester, right? Overall, I have a few points of advice when it comes to classes, in case you're going into college or maybe you're gonna have harder classes coming up soon. For one, the way you take notes is the way that you will be in the class. For me personally, I always took my notes on notebooks. Matter of fact, I got it right here. This notebook I used in first semester, I had my geomatics stuff in here, and I just went all the way through with this. I was ride or die in my notebook. And I did geomatics in here, I did statics in here, and I believe I did econ in here. This was really helpful to me because I like writing my notes handheld. But throughout the year, I saw so many people who were on the iPad wave. So they'd bring their iPad to class, they'd have a little stylus with them, and you could just take notes. I'm pretty sure there's an app where if you zoom out enough, it just has an infinite page of notes. So you don't have to go into a notebook and you get to the end of the page and you were writing good notes, but now you have to chunk them onto another page, which is really annoying. So that was really helpful. So I would say for you guys, define how you're going to take your notes in these classes, especially the hard ones where you have to draw stuff, and do that. For me, it worked out on paper, but try it on an iPad, especially if you already have one. Figure out what you want to do with your notes and go from there. My second piece of advice to you guys when you get into harder classes, and even really starting out in college, is to do practice problems outside of class. When it comes to math and when it comes to things that are outside of just memorization, you have to practice problems. A lot of times in these classes, the concept is not necessarily difficult, to grasp and to understand why it's important. But if you don't know how to do practice problems, then you're not going to know how to do it on the exam. What you're saying to yourself when you don't do a practice problem for an exam is that you're willing to go in there and essentially guess what the question will be on the exam. Whereas if you practice and there's only 5 different ways a question can be asked, you can practice all 5 of those and make sure that going into the exam, you're confident you can answer them. Identify the classes where it's important to practice and identify the classes where it doesn't matter as much. That will be my third piece of advice, actually, is to prioritize. That first 2 week of classes where everybody's chilling and there's not really anything going on, use that time to make mental notes on whether or not these classes are worth 100% of your energy, 70%, 50%, or if you can get by and get the grade you want with 10% of your energy. It's so much better for your work-life balance at school if you can get an A in a class using 15% rather than spending 50% of your energy just so you can get a 98 instead of a 93. You still have 5 other classes that you need to worry about. So those are my big 3 of advice for the classes side of it. I want to hit the social aspect of it too, because I'm sure some of you are introverts as well, and that part was not easy either. So for the social part of college, a lot of people go to college for the social scene, and at FAMU, there's definitely no shortage of that. I was very shy the first 8 months of college. Like, I really wasn't talking to people like that unless they approached me first, in which case I would open up. My first thing is understand how important connections are. I don't just mean in like the LinkedIn networking sense of connections. Like, there's the corporate world side of it. That's important. But in college, it's important that you have connections in all of your interests. This is the one opportunity in your life where if you're into hooping and you grew up in the suburbs and nobody was into that, you can find people who are into that. You can find people who are into Dungeons and Dragons at your school. You can find people who are into environmental justice at your school. You can connect with somebody on almost any topic when you're in college. So if you've had that thing that you've been really interested in since you were a kid that you feel like you don't get to engage with, see if there's something like that at your school, or even start up a club about that thing at your school and just see if it works. Because when you have a person to vent to, when you have a person as an outlet, it makes your life so much easier and more fun. I remember my first day of college, literally the day I moved in, I locked myself out of my room with my phone playing music inside the dorm and me with no shoes on. That sucked. And in that moment, when you're like helpless and you can only really rely on the RA to fix your problems, you realize how important it is to have a network of people that care about you and that are willing to help you out in times of need. My second word of advice in the social scene, especially at an HBCU, is to find your people. For me, I grew up in schools where Black people was like finding an M&M in your backpack. Like, it was like, oh, cool, you're here too. Nice. But it wasn't a lot. It was never more than like 3 in a class, you know? And once you got into AP classes, dual enrollment, it was even less. So my advice, especially if you go to an HBCU, is to find that 3 or 4 that you really rock with. It can be tempting when you get into college to try and be friends with everybody and just be somebody who's close with everyone. But as the year goes on and your friends start beefing and there's all these issues going on throughout the school, you want to make sure that you have like at least 2, I would say like 3 or 4 people that you seriously trust and know you can have conversation with and know you have their back and they have yours. In the same vein, when you're going out to parties, when you're doing really any activity where you need people there with you, having that 2 or 3 or even more people who you seriously trust is so valuable in those cases, because the last thing you want is to be abandoned at a party and have to Uber back, or to be in any situation where you're outside of school and you don't have anybody to help you out. FAMU is in Tallahassee, and I wouldn't say Tallahassee's the hood. Like, it's fine, but it can get dangerous. And for those of you in college towns where it's a lot less safe nearby the school and where these parties are going on, super important you have people you can trust. Another thing I really wanted to add is go to the football games, go to the basketball games, all of those social events where the whole school is going to be there, or, you know, there's a high anticipation behind it. Go to those things because, one, they're going to be talked about and it's fun to be able to jump in on those conversations. Two, group sporting events, especially if you're already into that type of stuff, are a really fun way to disconnect yourself from the grind and being in school and working on schoolwork all the time. Taking a Saturday afternoon to go watch a football game with your friends will not kill you, I promise. Have fun at those events. Please have fun at those events, because there's a lot to do, and usually they're free for students. If they're not free for students, I don't know what your school is doing, but go to the events, especially when they're free. They're of no cost to you. They just take a little bit of your time. Ask some friends, call them up and just say, hey, y'all want to go to the football game? They'll probably say yes. They're probably already going. So just figure out who you're going with and then you're good. Other thing, going to the CAF. I made this mistake throughout the whole year. I don't even know if it's a mistake for real, but go with other people more often. I feel like I was usually cool with going to the CAF by myself. Eating is a very, like, as you've seen from the 58 videos of cooking on this channel, eating is a very personal thing to me. So when I'm eating, I'm just chilling. Invite other people to go to the CAF with you. It's a very easy way to build conversation, catch up on things you've missed if you've been busy with school, and to socialize with people you care about. So yeah, go to the gym. Well, go to the gym too, work out, but go to the sporting events and all the fun school activities that they put on for you for free. And invite other people with you. When you're going to the CAF, when you're going to games, when you're going to the gym, share things with other people. My last part here is just rapid fire stuff that I wanted to get off because I don't have too much to say about it, but these are very important successes and regrets that I have from my freshman year. So I'm gonna go through the regrets first and then I'll hit the successes. So number one regret was not joining NSBE or ASCE. NSBE stands for National Society of Black Engineers. ASCE is American Society of Civil Engineers. These are really important for networking with people that are around your area in engineering. For all of you who got your dual enrollment degrees, it's super important that you network because you're essentially 2 years behind socially, where all the other people in your major have had time to get acquiesce to one another. So that's number one regret. Number two regret, caring too much about outside opinions. It's important to know what people think about you in some cases, but it's not really important to switch up how you act in a drastic way just so that you can appease other people. I do feel like I carried myself, especially in that first semester, caring so much about what other people thought that it stunted my ability to just be myself and chill out. There's so many people in college. I don't even go to a huge college, and there's so many people, a lot of them you will never see again in your life. So don't think about it too deep. Number three, slacking in the first week of classes. Those first 3 or 4 weeks are some of the biggest in terms of determining your grade. Everything from that first syllabus quiz up to your first exam, get a 100 on all of those assignments. And I promise you, it'll make the rest of your semester so much easier. It's a lot better to fight from getting your 100 down to a 90 and fighting against that than trying to fight uphill and trying to curb your 75 into a 90. I remember in geomatics, I had to do that and I hated that whole process. I had a 75 in like October, November, and I had to pay attention so much and really stress on those exams in order to get my grade back up to a 90. So just take those first 3 weeks and do well in them, and then you can kind of chill out as the class goes on. For my last regret is get sleep, like more than 5 hours, please, at a minimum every night. I cannot tell you how much stress descended upon me this year because I refused to get enough sleep. I understand for you guys that like study a lot and love to pull all-nighters, or you're just hanging out with your friends, like it's okay to be up late every once in a while or every few days out of the week, you know, but make sure you recover that sleep at some point in time. I feel like I could have been so much more successful and less stressed out on the average had I just gotten more sleep. Sometimes it's just a matter of turning your phone off. What I would do is I would plug in my phone somewhere that's not by my bed, because if I'm plugged in and it's nighttime, I'm doom scrolling for an hour. So take that hour back for yourself, just get sleep. Now for the things that I think really led me to success this year. Number one would be being open to new opportunities. Last year at this time, if you told me where I'm at now, I really would have been shocked. I didn't think I would end up with an internship this previous year, but I ended up at Collins Aerospace. Being open to the opportunities that come in your way are really important. When an opportunity comes knocking, you don't know if that's something that can happen again. You don't know if that's something that can lead you to another door that gives you something you're really interested in. So when a new opportunity comes your way, just acknowledge it, assess it, and try to be open to it. Just dip your toe and see how it goes, and then you can take it from there. My next success point that I think was really helpful would be getting A's and B's in your classes, especially if you're going into freshman year without having taken any college courses before. Knock out those first 10 to 15 classes with A's and B's. Set your GPA up at a point where it'll be really difficult to bring it down. For me, it was really important to keep my GPA up because multiple of my scholarships required that I keep it up, so I kind of had to in that regard. But still, you want to have a high GPA because you never know what things you're going to have to apply for down the line that are going to have some random GPA requirement. And you don't want something to have a 3.5 requirement and all of a sudden you're looking like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do, because you have a 3.4 after you got a B in English 1, when realistically everybody should be coasting through that class. That leads me into my second point, which is if you want to get through school with less debt and less student loans, apply for scholarships within your school. At FAMU, there's a website called FAMU Foundation where you literally can just apply for scholarships that only FAMU students can get. That lowers the pool of people so much. And a lot of those scholarships have GPA requirements. So if you're getting those A's and B's and keeping your GPA at a cool 3.2 to 3.8 range, you'll be fine for most of those scholarships. And that helps you pay for school a lot. There's also, by the way, a lot of need-based scholarships on there. So if you are in financial need, that website also helps a lot for that. For those of you going to different colleges, I would recommend you check out those resources. Email your financial aid office to see if they have a scholarship portal like that. Next thing, walking around campus. The College of Engineering at my school is actually at an off-site location because it's combined with Florida State. So it's like kind of in the middle of the two schools. If all my classes are at that building, I don't really have a reason to be walking around campus. And that hurts your ability to meet people, especially when you're new to school. So I would definitely say walk around campus with your free time, you know, especially like when it's cooler out and when the weather is nice. Take a walk around, you know, eventually you'll start seeing people repeatedly. Say hi, say what's up, compliment a shoe, compliment a shirt, like build those relationships with people in the small interactions, and it can really help down the line. That leads me into my second point here, which is that it really benefited me to be in the honors program at my school. I would highly recommend that Not really as much for the academic side, even though it was very helpful in that regard, but mainly for the social aspect of it. When you get into that honors program, there's gonna be like 50 other freshmen who also got into the honors program, if not more. And if the programming for that honors program is good enough, they probably have you all set up in rooms together. They're probably gonna keep you all close knit for a long time. And for me, I was a very big fan of that. That allowed me to keep friends for the entire year because I get to see them all the time. And as somebody who is in these classes where I don't have friends in my classes who like are in my cohort, I was a big fan of that. So befriend the people that are in your initial programming, or at least try to keep in touch with them. You don't have to be best friends, but try to be nice, be cordial, because these are people you'll be around for a long time. That's kind of all I've got. My freshman year, I'd give it a solid A-. Those first few months were really difficult, adjusting to the workload while also trying to build up my social life and, talk to more people. But when you get into the hang of it, and when you really do the things every day that lead to your success down the line, it's a very fun experience. It's very helpful for your growth, and you'll get a lot of opportunities for your career. So for those of you going into college, I wish you good luck. For those of you going back to college this next year, I wish you more luck, because the road is not over. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more obstacles for me to climb this coming year, and I'll have a video like this at some point next year, I'm sure. If you guys want to see more videos from me about managing engineering, dealing with all the classes and stuff, I might go through and just rank all of my classes from this year, because there was a lot of like small stuff about them I didn't have time to talk about. But if y'all want to see that, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys on the